Now, how to write this task? The first thing is to paraphrase the question. Fine. How do you paraphrase the question? You have to use the starting of your introduction paragraph, or the starting of your report. It is the graph illustrates or the chart depicts. These are the words that you will use to start your paragraph, the introduction paragraph. And after depicts, you have to paraphrase and write the question. It may depict sales of particular thing or anything. Then you have to include the values that are mentioned. It can be in billion, trillion, million, hundreds, or percentage, or centimeters, meters, anything. Then in graph 2, you have to give an overview, just the overview. You're describing the most general 10 and the most striking features. Over here, you will not include any kind of data. You're not going to include years. You're not going to include the percentage, how much what thing went up by how much percent, or you're not going to include anything. Just an overview that this was highest in this year, and for this year it was not that high, or it went down. Fine. Okay. Now, if we talk about paragraph 3, you have to give more detailed description of major features. So if whatever you're describing here, if that is something major, then you will describe it here with the data and the year and everything in details. And in paragraph 4, you have to give contradictory details. So it means anything that is opposite to this will come here. Okay, and we are going to discuss particular type of chart now. We have pie charts today. We're going to discuss pie chart and how do we use comparative language. Comparative language means when you are differentiating between two things who are polar opposite of each other, totally opposite, right? For example, these are few linking words that we use. Okay, so from this, let's do an exercise and see, like figure out what are the words that we use when we are comparing two things. So if you are writing that, if suppose A is at 10 and B is at 20 in 2001, and in 2010, A is at 10 and B is at 40. Okay, so there is a comparison in between two. So what words will you use to compare these two? What words, what linking words can you use? Right, so there are these words that we can use in comparison to, if we want to make a comparison between two or more things, right? So if we talk about in A, if A is at 10 and B is at 50, so you say that in the year this, A was at 50, on the contrast, B is at, 10 and the B is at 50 on this in this year. So you have to show a contrast in between these two. And these are the words we can use. And for other words like moreover, in addition to, also, likewise, similarly, and all these words that we have here, these are also used in task 1 and task 2. But most importantly, right now we're talking about task 1. So these particular words are being used in task 1, approximately. Why do we use approximately? Can anybody tell me?
So when we don't know the exact value on the graph.
Exactly, right? So, Kabir, when we do not know the exact amount, for example.
Yes, ma'am.
This is 10, this is 20, and there is a graph just over here. It stops here. And then there is a graph that goes up here. So if you are mentioning anything about this one, you're not going to say it is 10. You're going to say it is approximately 10 or near about 10 or just under 10. Fine, because we do not know the exact amount here. Right? So this is...
Okay, ma'am. I can use closely, ma'am?
Closely to, yes, closely. But closely is something like, for example, you cannot say it is closely to 10%.
Okay, under
10 or approximately 10, or you can also say approximately 18 or 19 over here, whatever like the ratio is given in. Fine?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
But Shweta, close to 10 is also right, correct? Close to 10. What's wrong in that?
But that is very basic. See, we are not using anything basic. Like we're not going to use something that anybody can express in. We're always going to go above and beyond that. Right? So that is why we use such words like just under or just nearby or about 10 or approximately.
Okay.
Right? And if we say, sorry, if we are describing about this one, then you will just say it is 20%. Okay, Kabir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's move forward. So these are few words that we use while we are writing. Moreover is for something that you want to add information to. Or you can say, okay, so this one is done. Moreover, if you keep talking about something, then like you expressed your idea, but you want to express another idea. So we use moreover. Similarly, we use in addition, if we are talking about adding on to another ideas. Also is for the same, likewise is for the same. And similarly is for if we have given information about suppose a pen, fine. So, and now we want to talk about pencil. So we'll say, like similarly, if we talk about pencil, we are talking in the same way, but we are giving different information now, right? If there is a huge difference that we see, for